comms or AP comms in general are pretty valuable. But I also feel like I get super dizzy when I play AP actually with figuring out what the best board is at the moment
Yeah.
in games, and that stresses me out a bit. And I think that's my biggest weakness right now with the AP comps, at least.
Right.
And in generally speaking, I think if we talk about weaknesses, I think managing economy right now is pretty difficult for me. I'm not quite sure when I should roll down,
Right.
when I shouldn't, when I should push levels and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's common. Yeah, so with these AP boards and especially with them becoming more meta in these recent patches, so like gadgetines, spell slingers, hearts, admin, there's just it is not easy. Like I was even like earlier just now I was watching like Asa, who at like multiple points was considered like one of, if not like the best player in NA, and
Yeah,
like even he's like struggling like, oh, is this better, is this better? It is like a complicated line, and there are like many variations that
exactly.
can make
It's
it
exactly.
difficult to know what to prioritize. I think if I were to give a general way to kind of clear your mind, I guess, is maybe a little bit early on, try to commit to a certain type of board.
Hmm.
So maybe you're playing it and you're not super familiar, so you have like a good Talia spot. So you just play a standard Talia board. So like here I'll show my screen for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. So like a very standard looking Talia board is something like this.
With or without spat.
No spat, no spat. Um be like this, and then maybe Syndra, Blanc. Oh wait, no. Oh, actually, wait, yeah. Okay. So this is like kind of a standard Talia board. It's just like 5-star Guardian, Spell Slingers,
Hmm.
something like this. I think like to just like as an example, you could like go for a board like this and just like try to like commit to this board, and then eventually depending on your augments, like if you get like +1 spell slinger and stuff like that, or what you hit, you could like start to change things around a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you have like a certain comp in mind, like say this one, you could just like commit to hitting these units, and then it will, if you're like thinking about these units, it will get you less dizzy, like when you like hit like a random fiddlesticks or Nunu or whatever and stuff like that. If you just
Yeah.
have like some sort of set game plan, and then you make like minor adjustments depending on the game plan, like maybe you don't play this Yumi and you play like a fiddlesticks or something like that.
Yeah.
Uh, just like having some sort of game plan first, and then making small adjustments from that is easier than going into the game completely flex and then kind of getting confused when, and then like maybe you end up holding the Sorakas and then you hold the Asals and stuff like that, and now you have
Yeah.
so many different units and you're like, which ones do I play, which ones do I not play?
Yeah.
That's like very common, especially in these AP boards, because like in theory this Soraka is playable, you could play it with admin. This Asal is playable, you could put AP items on him and he could be anti-heal. This Fiddlesticks is playable, this Jan is playable, this Mordekaiser, this Nunu, this Urgot. These are all playable units, but now you have so many units, you have so many units on bench, and you're just like, which ones do I even play?
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, so
Also,
that's very
something.
common.
What on your typical Talia board, for instance,
Yeah.
if you have a spat, which trait would you neglect then?
What kind of spat are we
Because
talking?
I'm thinking if you have a spellslinger spat, for instance, I would normally go to 6 spellslingers then.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
and
that's
then
common.
I would need to kick something out, like the 5-star guardians, I would
Oh yeah.
probably go down to three.
Yeah, I'd probably
Uh,
drop. Yeah, I think I'd do exactly that. Drop down to 3 star, like just as like a baseline board. Like probably, I guess it would just be this board, right? And then if you wanted,
yeah.
you could play where like Sona over this Lux, and then you could Spell Slinger. Maybe like the Echo is like a common thing.
So Echo over Syndra would be the best
Yeah,
choice.
I don't remember how well Syndra scales off of AP, but I know that Echo scales pretty well off of AP just because it multiplies his shield amount.
Yeah,
So AP on Echo is effectively more tankiness,
yeah.
which can help. So it's a pretty common thing to spell slinger the Echo, but yeah, so a board something like this is probably a common like Talia board with a +1 spell slinger.
All right. Okay. So something I'm really struggling with right now is, as I said, economy,
Mhm.
and knowing when to push and stuff like that. And it definitely hurts me in the sense that I think if you look at my lol chess, I get too many eights than I should. I feel like, um, and I think that a lot of those are avoidable.
Right.
At
Um,
least because eighths hurt you so much,
oh
like
yeah.
compared to just a sixth or seventh.
Oh yeah, this
Um,
for sure must be ways that it can be mitigated or avoided.
yeah.
Okay, so where do you think you just as like a way to like maybe start dissecting like problems, where do you think you lose the most HP? Do you think it's like early game, mid game, or like maybe around stage 4?
Um,
Common one is
I've
like a lot of people can maybe play a decent early game, but then stage 4 they just like get lost and they lose a lot of rounds then. Or maybe yeah.
I'm actually losing a lot on early stages. I feel
Okay.
like, but that's primarily when I'm like trying to go for a loss streak because I have a shitty board and I'm like
Mm-hmm.
open forting it a bit too much, right?
Okay.
And then if I do that, I normally roll down after Crocs. I go to 6 and roll down for for some kind of board texture.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, in general, I don't know when I actually lose the most.
Okay.
I think probably in stage three, to be honest, because I tend to do those quite greedily, where I
Okay.
like to econ up a lot, um, and then try to get level 8 in a decent time.
You're right.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah.
Yeah. All right. A few things I'd say is if you are like sacking your stage 2 and you're open forwarding and everything,
Hmm.
usually you tend to want to spike on 3-2 is
On 3-2,
generally the timing, yeah. So like
I normally spike on 3-1 actually.
oh 3-1. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it'd
I
probably
just.
be on 3-2 just because of the econ interval or not the econ, the level up interval.
Hmm.
We can talk more about that maybe
But
in the game.
doesn't my thoughts about going on 3-1,
Yeah,
if I'm like open forwarding it and I'm then I don't have any good traits for potential hero augments
hero
or augments in
augments, right?
general.
Yeah, so usually when you open for it, you can kind of figure out generally what you want to play through your items. So like let's say you
Yeah,
have an ionic spark and maybe a tier or something like that.
yeah.
Um, which is common. You could maybe think, okay, I'll just play into like AP and try to play around like Talia or maybe
Hmm.
like Soraka or whatever. And at that point, you could just hold the units that reflect those traits. So it's like if you want to play into Talia or Soraka, you might hold a Lux and an Annie or a Lux and a Sona.
Hmm.
And as long as you have that trade in, then
That makes
you'll be
sense.
fine to get most of the units that you want. Because you're usually not like unless you're playing like consistency, where it's like you have to lost streak and you really don't want anything to go wrong ever.
Yeah,
You're usually not like full selling your entire board. It's just you're playing a very weak board and
yeah,
prioritizing econ over strong units.
exactly.
But in most cases, you could still hold like one Lux, one LeBlanc, maybe you could hold like two admin or two heart or something like that. And usually that's enough to the point where when you do get augments and it is a hero augment, if you have like if you're playing around like Talia and you have Spellslinger in, then you could just take like Undercurrent, which is Sona support, or Burning Spirit, which is the anti-support augment, and both of those are takeable.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Um. All right. Maybe we could start the game.
The VOD.
Yeah, the VOD.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. I'll just share my screen then. Let's
Yep.
see.
Okay.
Should be.
So, what goes on in this game?
Okay. I'm gonna take an eighth game first. Where I went eighth. Because I feel like this sums up a lot of my issues. First of all, had I mean, the eighth place is like whatever. It's not that I went eighth that I wanted this. It's because I
Right.
to figure out if there was a way in this game to actually maybe play sixth or something. Because I low
Right.
rolled like shit, right? But
Okay.
maybe there's a way. And also, if you could take a look at my augment choices in game, that would be cool because I feel like I struggle a bit with that.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. I'll just it was a very long load screen here.
Right. Okay.
You can.
So, what like components do we try to
I
start here?
I like tier and sword openers.
Uh-huh.
I don't know which I played some sure shot today where I got fourth. We will watch that game as well, I think. Um, so I don't know which state AD is in. So I tend to go towards an AP route
Mm-hmm.
early on in the
Okay.
carousel as well.
Yep.
So tier rod salt is probably my prior
Okay.
in that.
Yeah, I think that's completely fine.
All right. Should I skip ahead of this? I probably should.
Oh, yeah, not too far. I think there's even stuff to look at. Is
Yep.
there a playback like speed thing or no?
I don't actually know. I've never used this.
Maybe not, maybe not.
Uh,
That's okay. Just like if you could skip forward in like 5-10 second intervals every once in a while,
yep.
could be okay.
Definitely.
Like this, there's
All right.
probably not much to look at here, but maybe here there's something to look at. Okay,
Yeah.
look at your board really quickly.
Here I always tend to scout on 1-4 just to figure
Mm-hmm.
out what to sort of commit to
Yeah, okay.
in the shop.
All right, this looks fine. Probably want to, oh, okay. I'd probably just sell the Alistar and hold everything. Okay, that's a
Uh huh.
little
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Okay, so we could pause here.
Hmm.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on these augments so far?
Well, I feel like with my current board,
Mm-hmm.
knife edge is just out of the question because I don't think that is playable with anything but duelists. But I could be wrong on that.
Okay,
Pandora's Bench, I feel like is just trash. Um, and I might be wrong on that too. So I ended
okay.
up picking Second Wind.
Yeah. Uh,
Cause I, yeah,
okay. I think that that's like completely fine. Second wind is like a safe option. It's like you almost never roll second wind because it's
yeah,
like it's very flexible and also it's good. Whereas
yeah,
you can easily like you can get something better, but it's very easy to get something worse than
yeah,
something as
exactly.
simple as second wind. Pandora's I am also not a huge fan of. There's like some things you can do with it or some comps that you can like try to play it with, but in general I'm not too big of a fan. And
I
Knife's
don't think I ever
Edge,
picked Pandora's actually in my games. Never ever.
yeah, I mean it's not that great.
No,
Um
I feel like it trolls you more than it helps you out.
Yeah, a lot of times it does. There are some strategies that people do, like they like if you're maybe playing the Kaisa comp or something where you
Hmm.
want multiple three costs. Some people they roll for 2-star three costs, and
Yeah,
then it's like a big gamble where it's like if you do hit the units that you want, like Rammus, Cho'Gath, Vayne, Kaisa, then you immediately just spawn with like a 2-star version of them.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's like there are some strategies that you could play with it, or you could just kind of tempo with it. You take the 2 gold that it gives you, and you can kind of just treat it as like a trade sector kind of thing, where it's like you get a few extra units on the side.
Yeah.
But yeah, in general, I would say that it's not too strong of an argument. Knife's Edge, yeah, so you generally just want to play with Duelist. Another comp that's very good with it is actually Camille.
Uh-huh.
Camille scales very, very well off of AD. So
Yeah.
just getting the Knife's Edge value on her is really good. Or something you could do is if you have like a tempo early game, like you have some 2-star units or something,
Hmm.
you can take this like Silver Knife's Edge and you can even just like drop it in the late game and play like I don't know like sure shots late game, but you don't even need to put the sure shots in the knife's edge range. Just as
Yeah,
like
that makes
a
sense.
way to um play a strong early game, and then you can like drop it later when it's not as worth it.
Yeah, all right.
Mhm.
So it's yeah, you can like
Yeah,
play because it's only a silver.
yeah, you
It's
don't
all
mind
right
dropping
to.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
it's yeah. I something that I did a few times when laser core was more meta was I would take like maybe silver featherweights or something like that
Mhm.
because the comp uses multiple 1 and 2 costs like Ash, Renekton, Yasuo, and then maybe
Mhm.
you're running like a buy for early game, and
Yeah.
that lets you like streak early game, and then even in the late game when you're running like the Ash, Renekton, Yasuo, they get the featherweights, but you can just like kind of sack it on the rest of your team and play standard after that.
Yeah. Cool. So you
So
you can. It's all right to treat silver augment for like tempo augments and
yeah,
just get a
yeah,
strong early game.
yeah. It's a little more iffy on gold and prismatic because uh dropping them late game means you're kind of down in augments.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it makes it feel a little bit worse. Silver, if you can get a lot of value out of it like immediately, then sometimes it doesn't feel too bad to just ignore it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So I think second win, like even after all that, I still think second win is probably just like the obvious answer.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Good.
Okay.
I just want to check here what they go for because we have so much time in a way. So
Hmm.
why not?
All right. So the shop.
Yeah. So this is a weird spot for me actually, considering my items.
Right.
Um, and immediately I think, okay, I have a shift, I have crit. Um, I can I can just force some animus.
Okay.
Because I feel like those are my best slams, but I don't know. It might be Hodge, but I'm not very fond of Hodge slamming
Okay.
early game.
Okay. So I actually don't mind the Shiv Slam too much. It's like not bad. I think Hodge is also fine. I think also if you had an AD opener, then you could actually just make Last Whisper and play into AD.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. But
I think tiers like I think if you started like Rod, it's a little bit more awkward since you don't want that many rods in like an AD comp. You don't really want tiers that much either, but tier in AD comps can be Hodge. Like let's say you get dropped more tiers here.
yeah,
You can make Hodge. You could also make Redemption. You could also make Knight's Vow, and those are all pretty makeable items.
yeah. For instance, actually, this is on the last patch we played. I would have loved this item opener because I would always slam Last Whisper because you would always go into as much AD as you could.
Hmm.
But here I'm not quite sure what's like how good um 80 is actually. I have no clue.
Okay. I mean it's playable, but not as forcible. I'd say like you don't want to be in a very low roll spot and play like try playing Samira
Hmm.
because you just like don't have the resources to hit, and then you just want you need a lot more than you used to basically.
Yeah, yeah, makes
So
sense.
it's like if you're trying to play from like low econ spot or low HP, it can be tough.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I end up like win lose win
Okay.
situation here, which I hate.
Yeah. Okay, one thing I will say is on 2-1, I actually
Hmm.
don't think our board was very strong. We
No,
had two Jinx, Wukong, Alistar, I think. So there I think I actually would have just considered possibly not leveling at all.
yeah, Makes sense.
and just saving our econ a bit
Yeah.
more. Here I think it's worth it to check the admin because we might want to still play into LeBlanc.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something I tend to forget a bit about.
Mhm.
Checking early admin.
Yeah. But usually on 2-3, your thoughts are, or your options are usually, do you want to make 10 or do you want to pre-level?
Yeah.
Yeah, so pre-leveling gives you access to a higher chance for 3 and 4 costs. It also lets you keep more units because you're not making 10 anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I believe I ended up pre-leveling here in a
Okay.
very weird manner because I hit 8. I mean, I hit 5 off of it. Or maybe I don't, actually.
Yeah, so I think it's just depending on how much you prioritize these units. I
Yeah.
actually don't really care that much about these units, so I
No, I
actually
don't
think I would
either.
have. Yeah, I think I would have made
Yeah.
10 here.
That would have made. Oh, I couldn't make 10, could I?
Yeah, you can make
3,
10
6,
because
8. Oh, yeah, I could.
yeah, I don't prioritize Alistar until like stage 3 or 4 because
Uh, no,
uh
I do prioritize LeBlanc a lot, though.
yeah, LeBlanc could be. I think if there is a reason to make not make 10, it would probably be LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Okay. So get another tier. Okay. What are your thoughts on this carousel, by the way? Like in terms of items.
Let me just look at it again, actually,
Yeah.
because I don't. I think my thought here is, yeah, I don't even actually remember. I think I took the tier because, oh yeah, I need a Shojin at some point if I wanted to go
Mm-hmm.
anima, and I need a Shojin if I like a Shojin is also very fine on LeBlanc, right? So I think
Okay.
I just went and prepped that instead of
Okay.
finishing my
Yeah.
my gauntlet item.
Okay. Uh, I think we could pause here really quickly.
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay.
I
So in terms of anima, I'd say you generally don't want to play anima squad unless you could get it in very, very early.
uh-huh.
By early I mean like 2-1, 2-2. And
Oh yeah.
also you don't really want to prioritize it unless you also have a strong board. So because you want to be getting the anima stacks as early as possible. And
Hmm.
you also need a strong board to actually get the kills to farm the stacks.
Exactly.
And it's also a comp that like you want to be streaking, you want to be healthy, you want to have you want to be have a strong board for most of the game and then like kind of fall off a little bit later into a top 4, top 3, top 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
So just in general, I wouldn't be thinking anima too much, because we don't really have it by 2-5, and our board is
Yeah.
not super super great. But I still
So
think the tier is like okay.
yeah, I think I like tunnel vision super hard on my double jinx here,
Uh-huh.
and already had planned out from 2-1 that okay, I have to go anima here.
Okay.
And I think that's like a huge mistake in this game, and that's
Okay.
actually what I want to look at as
Yeah.
well, because what could I have done differently?
Right.
Because I ended up eighth, right?
Okay. Yeah. Right. So Jinx is actually a pretty good standalone unit. Like she actually like even you're playing it right now, right? She doesn't have any
Hmm.
traits active, but she's
Yeah.
still a pretty decent unit. Decent AP item holder, does a decent amount of damage, can kill some units. So, just like playing her right now is completely fine. If you hit like a Zoe, Prankster on stage 2 is
Yeah.
very, very strong.
Yeah. Definitely is.
So, I think it's fine to hold her. Okay, so in terms of plan for this round, um,
If I look at it now, I
yeah,
would say what I'm doing now is what I should do is check the admin real quick.
yeah.
Play the LeBlanc with the tier on, um, and hopefully make 10 as well. I don't
Uh,
know. I think I end up buying Vayne and not making 10, and
yeah.
I'm
Another
not
thing is
even sure.
we ended up selling the Silas, so we couldn't even get Animan and still.
Yeah,
Not that
super
I
weird.
think it's like that great, to be honest.
No,
Like,
but
Anima
still, it.
itself, at 3 is actually not really that like it doesn't really do anything.
No, it's super garbage. Yeah,
It gives you like 10
you need
AP or
5.
something like that.
Yeah,
10 AP, 10 AD. I mean the only reason you run 3 is like pretty much so that you could get the stacks, and then once you get to
yeah,
like 5 and 7 is when the buff actually is a little more impactful.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so what I see here is, I mean, I get if you look at your shop, there actually is a an option to just play laser because
There's a full laser
you have
shop.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have four lasers in your shop and you have a static shiv, which is not a bad item for laser. The thing about
Definitely.
that is like I just probably wouldn't prioritize that on this patch just because laser is not a very it's like similar to anima where it's like you kind of want to be streaking, maybe you
Yeah.
fall off a little bit later but you streak and everything, but
I've had very limited success with laser.
yeah, it is much worse than its old version,
Yep.
and it is also very dependent on like getting laser core heart, laser core spat, something like that, or like spirit of the exile. It's
Hmm.
much more dependent on those factors compared to what it used to be. So
Yeah.
I actually wouldn't really be. It's just like kind of something to look at, but I don't think I'd be looking into that much either. Okay, so let's see.
So what would you do in my spot now?
Okay, I'd probably check the
Just.
admin,
Hmm.
and then depending on if it's playable or not, you could choose to play it. You also, I think, if I can, you also actually have an option to make 20 here. And
Oh
not
yeah.
level. Because what I'm thinking here is we're probably not going to streak anyway. Because if
No.
we level up, like what are we really playing? If we level up here, we're just playing like random LeBlanc,
Yeah.
random Alistar, or maybe we play
Still
like
no trades, right?
yeah. So I'd check the admin. If it's something like significant, like I'd say like the really good AP or LeBlanc admins is like, on kill gain AP, on kill gain mana, on ally death gain AP, on ally death gain mana. Stuff
Yeah.
like that. If it was one of those, or just a AP or an admin buff that looks like, oh, I want to play LeBlanc here, and then maybe you can like sell the Jinx and move items to LeBlanc and play Camille. If it's something like that, you can maybe play into that, but in most cases it wouldn't be, and I just feel like this board isn't very good, so I'd probably prioritize econ more than playing strongest board. Even though we are on a one streak, this board just doesn't look good in my opinion, and it's very likely that the other people in our rotation will beat us even if we level.
Yeah. Makes sense. I was actually I remember I played this game yesterday, I believe, and I that one streak actually had a huge impact on me in this game. I'm quite sure that I level here,
Right,
because I wanted to try and keep the streak going for
right.
Crocs.
Yeah. I think that is like a fine way of thinking. It's just you have to think
I have
what
to
am
look
I
into my
leveling
board as well.
for, and also like how much impact does that have?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what we level for. Maybe we level for I'm not sure, but I think no matter what we level for here, it doesn't make our board much stronger, and it kind of has
Yeah.
a pretty high cost because if we don't level here, then we save 4 gold, and we could also have the potential option to make 20 gold here.
Hmm. So if you wanted to make 20 gold, you just keep the board and just sell the bench, right?
Yeah, I think I would just yeah, because then you also get to
Yeah.
keep the Jinx pair, you get to keep the Defender pair,
Hmm.
and play from there.
What would you do with the tier though? Would you make it into a Hodge
Um,
right away or?
I would greed until after Krugs, and then reevaluate my items after that.
Okay, cool.
Hodge is not a bad item, but it could be something better. Maybe it turns out you want to make like blue buff JG. Let's say you get
Yeah,
dropped a tier in a rod.
exactly.
Uh, so again, like if we're streaking here, like let's say we have an anima board, maybe we have a Jinx 2, we have like Jinx 2 anima squad. You might consider making the Hodge just so that you can maintain your streak.
Hmm.
But here it's like no full streak. Our board's not very good. I would just greed the items to see if we can make something better after Krugs.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so I think we can play here.
Oh, yep. I'm actually quite. Yeah, I did level up. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then didn't
At the
check.
very least, we should check the admin.
Yeah, I don't think I do that actually. I think yeah, I just sell
Okay.
right away.
All right.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. So like the thing here is we're only at 10 gold, and we're also at risk of not having a streak either. Like this guy's
Hmm.
board. This guy I think is 6 brawler already.
Yep.
Um. Yeah. So our spot economy wise just like is pretty bad now. So
Super
we
bad.
didn't we have no streak. We are not making like econ inter. Oh, actually, wait, do we win? Maybe we win.
Yeah, I'm quite sure I beat this.
Oh, okay, never mind. Oh, we win. Okay, but we're our like econ is very dependent on streaking the rest of the stage then. Because let's
Hmm.
say we lose next round, we don't get like the gold for winning. We're gonna be on no streak.
Yeah.
Um, and we're only at 10 gold. I'm not even sure if we can make 20 here unless we sell the vein
Yeah.
or we sell the LeBlanc. I mean, I feel like we kind of. Oh, we also have like the Rel pair that we kind of want to keep. So
Yeah.
it's like if we don't make 20 here, um, our spot like on an econ level is just very very bad. Like we're gonna only be making like 20 after Krugs.
Yeah.
And if we wanted to go like level 6 on 3-2, it would be like level 6 with like 20 gold, 20-ish gold.
Exactly.
And it just doesn't
What
look
what
as
would you
good.
aim for on 2-7 generally for econ? I feel
Yeah.
like 30 goldish is decent.
Yeah, usually you'll be it's very dependent on your spot. Like maybe you are this low in gold, but uh you have a
But then
strong
you
board.
would, yeah,
You have a
exactly.
strong board and you're like prioritizing keeping pairs and stuff like that. Um yeah, I mean I guess 30 gold is like usually what you end up at, but it's more of just like maximizing how much gold you have in your spot. And just like from this game in general, I'd say like we could have made 10 on 2-3 before the carousel. We
Hmm.
could have made 20 on 2-5, and we'd have less units, so we wouldn't have this LeBlanc here. We wouldn't have this Vayne or this Alistar, but we'd probably be at like 30 plus gold right now.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it just
Yeah,
like
this
seems like
is
we're just
a
like
terrible spot.
yeah, we're just like holding too many different lines open. So it's like LeBlanc can be strong, sure, but we have like no spell slingers to play around. We don't have the admins to play around. We don't even know if we want to play around the LeBlanc.
Yeah.
So we're just like keeping too many stuff open. And the thing is, if you play like too flexibly and you're keeping so many different things, that's what also hurts your econ because you're holding so many units that you can't make the econ intervals.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so
So yeah, I don't even buy the Silas here, even though I think I was very off this game actually.
yeah,
Even though I in my mind wanted to force
I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, I don't yeah. And here I go for my very, very
Oh.
yeah.
Oh.
This is just to get anima in, right? This is
uh.
super bad.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I had the feeling that okay, if this is a hero augment on 3-2, I'm super fucked now. Like I'm omega fucked
Right.
if I don't do this. And
Um.
now I'm just omega fucked anyway, right?
Yeah. I feel like you're. Yeah. I feel like this like kind of risks the entire game for like a very. It's like extremely high risk for like low reward.
Yeah.
So now like for level 6-0, we have no streak. Okay. Also, do you know about like the leveling intervals?
No, not really.
Okay, you can pause it here. I think that's a pretty good time thing to go
Oh
over.
yeah, maybe I do, but yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I'll share my screen really quickly, just so
So it's
that we
like
can.
7 on 4-1 or 3-7, right? Something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's like the generic ones, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So,
there we are.
okay. How can I explain this really quickly? Give me a second.
Yeah, yeah. I started playing TFT in this set, so I don't have that much knowledge
Oh,
about
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
That's completely
basics.
fine. I'm just gonna pull up a random stream right now, so you can see my screen, right?
Hmm.
Let's go to like stage 3 really quickly, where you were. Okay. So, this is like pretty much a similar spot that you were at in
Yeah.
terms of like um XP and gold and everything. So
Hmm.
basically, I'll show you about leveling intervals, and this will give you a better idea of when you want to level versus when you want to like hold off for a bit. So you
Yeah.
said you usually level on 3-1, but generally
Well,
people level to 6 on 3-2.
yeah. I mean, I level on 3-1 if I have a terrible ball.
Okay. Yeah,
Just to
so
do the roll down to send it.
yeah. So the thing is in a lot of cases, in most cases that's like extremely risky, and I
Yeah.
only do it like normally people in general normally people only level to 6 on like a 4 or 5 win streak. And also even after they level, they almost never roll unless they think it's like absolutely worth it. In most cases, it's like you don't level to 6 on 3-1, and then if you do, it's only from like a win streak position to
Yeah.
maintain streak.
So maintain streak. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason for that is we're still building our econ. So as I said, like most people are like 30, somewhere between 20 and 40 gold. Usually like maybe 30, 40 gold plus,
Yeah.
depending on their spot. After stage 2.
Hmm.
And they like you want to try to snowball your econ. You want to try to get to like 40 and 50 as fast as possible. Obviously, you don't want to overgreed. There's like a spectrum where it's like, sometimes you're too greedy, sometimes you're not.
Yeah.
But in general, when worth it, you want to get to 30, 40, 50 as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And so the reason why leveling here is not good is because you could only level or you could only buy XP in chunks of 4. So you get passive 2 XP every round, and you could only buy XP in chunks of 4, which means if we level on 3-1, we're gonna be spending. So from this spot, we're gonna be spending 16 gold to level to 6 right now. Whereas if
Yeah.
we waited one turn, we're gonna be out of 8 out of 12, and we would only have to spend 12 gold.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So 3-2 is what we would call like a perfect leveling interval, while 3-1 is not. And it's because of the 4 XP gap that you have to spend extra or leveling on 3-1. So basically, let's say we don't level here, right? And we
Hmm.
don't we're on 3-2 now. We could choose to level to 6 now, or we could choose to not. Let's say we choose to not level again on 3-2. Now it's 3-3. It's the cost to level is still 12 gold. So it was 12 gold on 3-2, and it's 12 gold on 3-3. So
So
what
it
this
would be
means,
terrible to level on 3-3, right?
yeah, so what this means is like you usually don't level on 3-3 compared to 3-2, because it's like if you were to level on 3-3, then you might as well have done it on 3-2 because it costs the exact same amount.
Yeah. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Another thing is if you level now, it costs 4 gold extra, and also you're making less econ intervals than if you didn't level. So it's like let's say he doesn't level now, he's gonna make 30 gold. Well, if he levels now, he'll make 20 gold or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this becomes even more impactful like later in the game, where it's like let's see what happens in this game. See level 8 here. Okay.
Very state, right? It has to be quick. 4 or 5.
Yeah. Okay, let's just say here. I mean, usually like let's say I was trying to look for a spot to see if he was level 7 on 5-1, which is more common, but okay, let's just look at it here. On 4-3, you could consider going to level 8 here.
Hmm.
Um but it will cost you 48 gold, and it will drop you to below 10.
Yeah.
So the difference between going level 8 now and going level 8 next turn will be the 4 gold that it costs you for the econ, and then it would also be the 5 gold of interest. So
Yeah.
effectively, waiting one turn to level from 4-3 to 4-5 is actually a 9 gold difference.
A lot.
So in some cases, like let's say, like usually you don't have to make this decision on 4-3 because you're not gonna be like 1 HP on 4-3 unless something really terrible happened.
Unless
But
you're the last guy in that lobby.
yeah, oh yeah, I guess. But like let's say it's like stage 5-1 or something like that. This is usually when a lot of people go from level 7 to level 8 is like around stage 5. And again, so just to go over it again, the perfect interval um spots are 4-2 or the second round of a stage, the fifth round of a stage, and the seventh round of a stage. So
Are the best to level at or what?
yeah, is like the perfect leveling interval. So like 3-2, 3-5, 3-7, 4-2, 4-5, 4-7, 5-2, 5-5, 5-7.
I
Uh
don't think I ever spent a lot of gold on leveling on the seventh round because it's already free,
okay,
right?
yeah. So that's what we could also go over. So the
Mm-hmm.
seventh round is Krugs, the seventh round is Wolves, the seventh round is
ASOL?
Asol. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's the seventh round, and the reason why people don't level then, opposed to leveling on maybe 4-1 or something like that, or 5-1.
You get two econ,
Yeah,
right?
you get to econ more, and you don't need to level to play against like the wolves or to play
Yep.
against the thing, because like you're stronger anyway. So it's like you might as well save the extra, 2-3 gold, even though it technically is a perfect interval to level like on wolves. That's why you see people leveling to 7 on 4-1, is because
Exactly.
you don't need to level for wolves, so you just level afterward.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
That was my point.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about, I think.
All right. Cool. Cool.
All right. So that could give you a better perspective on when you want to level.
You have no idea
Just
how many games I've leveled on 3-1
yeah.
and did that roll down.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
normally that's when I open Ford. I do it.
Hmm.
Um, because yeah, I have a lot more roll down gold.
Yeah.
But then yeah,
Yeah, but even then, it's
maybe I
like
should just stop that. Yeah.
yeah, you still want to wait until 3-2, because like let's say you're on a 5 loss streak, right?
Yeah.
You get gold for lost streak. So
Yeah.
how the streak gold works is like if you're on a 2 or 3 win or loss streak, you get +1 gold. If you're on a 4 loss streak or win streak, you get +2 gold. And if you're on 5 plus, so like let's say you're on 5 win, every turn you get an additional 3 gold. And if you're on 5 loss, every turn you get an additional 3 gold.
Yeah.
So let's say it's 3-1 and you're on a 5 loss streak, which is common in a open fort game.
Yep.
You get +3 gold per round. So you actually don't mind losing that much, because you actually get more gold from losing than you do from winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get the +3 loss streak, and you could even continue to keep losing depending on your spot. So you don't mind. So if you don't level on 3-1, you get to potentially keep your loss streak, which gives you more econ. You get to make another like 50 gold interest, which is more econ, and you save 4 gold from not leveling too early.
Yes.
So it's
That.
just way more gold to work with, which is why people usually tend to open for it into spiking their board on 3-2.
Okay. Yeah. So that was my next question. If I open 4, I should just save one more round and just
Mhm.
do the roll down on 3-2 and try to stabilize there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
That's generally how it goes. Sometimes you might, in more rare, like that's the most common case. In more rare cases, you might spike on 3-5 with like level 7 instead. But
Okay.
that's like depending on like what comp you're playing. Like let's say you're playing Viego or something like
Yeah.
that. Some people just open for it. They lose every round until 3-5. Then they're at like 30-ish out HP, but they have a lot of gold. They're like level 740 gold. They roll, they hit like Viego, and then they play from there.
Okay. Okay. But that
Uh
feels like a bit more risky, right?
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a much more consistent to
To do the
like
3-2 line.
yeah, 3-2 roll down.
Okay.
That's gonna
Cool.
be more common. Okay. Are you still sharing your screen?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Let me take a look.
Am I not?
No,
Yeah,
you are,
I am.
you are. Yeah,
Oh
okay.
shit. Oh yeah,
Okay.
we had a game going.
Yeah, okay. Perfect. Now we could just like keep going from here.
Yeah. So obviously I win this because I donkey rolled everything, right?
Hmm.
um. Yeah. Okay. Let's go on.
But yeah, so it's like now our spot's just like kind of scary because
It's
we're
super trash, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
level 6, 10 gold. It's like how do we ever get to like level 8 from here? Um,
Exactly.
and we have like no streak, so we have like no source of income. Okay, so what
Yeah.
are your thoughts on these augments here?
Thoughts here is my bot sucks. I have a sort of combat augment already, so I can perhaps be greedy here, and I could really use the trade sector because my
Mm-hmm.
bot is trash,
Yeah.
even though I sent all my gold. Uh, uh, so I end up And threat level is obviously out of the question, right? Ascension is all right, but I think it's way better if you do like the Jax line.
Mhm.
Um, so I end up taking trade sector here.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I think that's correct. So trade sector is nice on 3-2. It can help rebuild your economy because you get the immediate 10 gold, which is like something that you kind of need.
yeah,
It also helps you hit your pairs and get 2 stars, which is something that you can also use. You don't have a lot of 1-star units.
yep,
But yeah, so just getting the 10 gold and everything I think is completely fine. I will say if you are in good spots for it, threat level maximum is one of the strongest augments like
yes,
in general.
definitely.
It did get a small nerf,
Yeah, it
but
went
the
from
thing is,
75, right?
yeah, it's so simple. Like eventually you just kind of sell your whole board and play threats.
Yeah,
It's
it
so
gives.
yeah, it's like very simple and also it's very effective. So
Yeah,
it's hard to miss. It's hard to miss like the threats, and then it's also once you do get a full threat board online with upgrades with decent items, it is a pretty safe top four a lot of the times.
definitely. Yeah, I did play threat level a lot in the last patch.
Mhm.
So I'm aware it can be very very good.
Yeah, and it's something
Um,
where it's like if you have like the Belveth already, which is
yeah,
almost always your main carry, then it's a very easy choice. But I'd just say like even if you're like level six, if you're like level 650 gold here, you have maybe like some Ramuses or something. You have like 2 Ramus, and you don't have very clear direction in one way or another. So it's like you're not already playing 5 Anima Squad. You're not already playing Sure Shots. You're not already playing Duelist. You could actually just consider taking it, even with very minimal threats, and then maybe on 4-1 is when you do like the level 7 roll down, and that's where
yeah,
you pick up all your threats.
yeah. Exactly. That's what I like about the augment, that it actually it just gives you direction. You know, okay,
Oh
cool.
yeah,
This is what I play,
yeah,
right?
very very simple direction.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I think trade sector is good here.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's what I end up taking. And spoiler alert, it gives me nothing this game.
Okay. We'll
Uh,
see. Okay. I think even just from the start there, like I know you're like in your head you're committed anima,
yeah,
but I
same
think I would
similar to
like
this.
pick up the Annie. Again, I would like check the admin.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. So it's like I think the Annie Lulu. I think in most cases you could buy out most of your shop in the first roll just to
and
keep
just
your
sell.
options open, and then
Yeah,
you roll once, and then you just sell whatever you realize that you can't really play
and
around.
that's exactly what I mean about. We have already established so many points in this game where I could have avoided a bottom eighth, right?
Yeah,
And this shop is a great example because this shop actually is fine direction, right?
yeah,
Especially with my items.
yeah. You have the
Um,
Alistar too.
yeah, but in my head it's like, oh, I'm on anime, right? So
Yeah,
that's super
exactly.
dumb. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, that makes super sense.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
buying the Sona and not buying the Annie there makes no sense at all
yeah.
either.
You buy like half of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Then buying an Annie and playing it. Like
yeah,
what? What the fuck?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay as long as we like recognize it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Super
I mean,
dumb.
I would probably just like pivot out of this anima like immediately. Like we could maybe
Yeah.
keep the Jinx. It's Jinx pair, and again, oh my god, and again, Jinx
Yeah.
is like not so bad. But yeah, this anima doesn't do anything. This vein doesn't do anything. I would sell the vein because the thing is, we could sell this vein, and that lets us buy the Sona without losing econ.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we have like 1 Sona on our bench, but we're probably not even looking to play it because we're committed anima, and also we can't
Yeah.
pick up the Sona pair because we don't want to drop below 20.
Yeah. So it's like committed anima for no reason, right? It's
Yeah,
like the worst excuse to play anima this
yeah,
game.
pretty much. Yeah, you only really
Yeah.
want to play anima if you're like basically like given everything for it.
Yeah, so if I have like a 2-star Nasus with a Jinx and a Silas on
Yeah,
2-1,
yeah,
it could be playable, right?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
like maybe even like the Shiv or the Shojin or something. If you have like all of those things or whatever, yeah, I guess like
Yeah,
two
look at this
star.
actually. if I had bought
Oh,
like
yeah.
a normal person,
Mhm.
bought the shops like I would have a 2-star Sona and a 2-star.
Yeah, the spot actually would be pretty
Right.
good. Also,
Yeah, it
yeah.
would have been decent.
Yeah, we could play the Sona. We had like the Lulus. We could just like play Sona and a Lulu.
Yeah,
Um, maybe we would have the Poppy here, so maybe we could get Gadgetina in.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I see it quite clearly right now. You're
Mhm.
right. This is
I mean, that being said, our HP is still like okay. Maybe we can try to salvage something.
yeah.
But
uh,
I
I'm
mean,
interested.
we like I would say the spot is like unsalvageable, but then at the same time, with like the decisions that we've already been making, I'm not sure if we will.
Yeah, no, we will not salvage anything this game. That's for sure. What was I about to say? Yeah, I don't remember actually. But what could I have done here? For instance, when we take this line that we do,
Mm-hmm.
is there anything I can do right now?
Do you mean into this Talon matchup
No, no,
or in
into like
general?
how to do better in this game.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
let's
mean,
just
what
start
for
with that.
one, it's just like, committing to comps or lines that aren't actually optimal. So it's like
Yeah,
just knowing like when and why you would play certain things. It's like, okay, so for starters, we would play Anima when we have an opener and everything. We kind of went over that.
yeah,
But so like, let's say we're playing, we don't get Anima Squad. We want to try to play Anima Squad, but we don't hit it on stage two. So it's like, okay, that's fine. We could play something
that's
else.
out of the question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we want to find a comp that we can default into that is worth playing into. So
yeah,
examples would be we could check the admin and maybe we could play LeBlanc admins. That's something. We can do that. And then if not, then a lot of times we could, if we're playing like AP with AP items, a lot of times you want to pick your comp based on your items.
yeah,
But with your items right now, I think it was like what, Shojin, Shiv, Guardbreaker?
yeah. I think that's
Yeah,
correct.
so those look like great items for Talia. So then from there we could just be thinking, okay, this is going to be a Talia game unless something greatly pushes me in a different direction. An
Yeah,
example is like you randomly get an MF2, which might happen. You randomly get a Soraka 2, which might happen. So unless like these things happen, we are going to be playing Talia like random number like 80% of the time.
yeah. Okay.
So that's like what we could angle towards. So we angle into a Talia game. We pick up the units that are necessary for that board, the Annie, the Spell Slingers, the Echo, the Alistar, stuff like that.
Yeah,
And we try to play into that. And in the meantime, before we get the Talia, we can use what are they, like item holders. So Jinx is a decent option. If we hit like Jinx 2, we could have her hold the all the items. We could play like a LeBlanc and put all the items on her. And then once we get like Talia and we get like, Talia 2, then we move the items over and we play from there.
yeah. Makes sense. Can you just hold on 1 minute? I really need to pee.
Okay, go for it.
Cool. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry.
All right, no problem.
Should we watch this game further, or have we established what?
I think it's fine if we just like kind of finish up this game,
Mm-hmm.
and that might just be it for now.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. I think there could still be some more stuff that can happen in this game.
Yeah. So we watch through, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this carousel, I
Okay. Yeah. So what are
my
you thinking on this
thoughts.
carousel?
Yeah, my thoughts are that I have already finished up my carry item, so I need to start planning on getting
Defensive
um
items.
yeah, defensive items. Yeah.
Okay. So what are thoughts on? So if we're picking a defensive item,
Mm-hmm.
what are our reasons for picking cloak over maybe belt or chain?
I think that a lot of comps right now, at least in my bracket, are very AP heavy. So I think getting a cloak is just more value at the moment.
Okay.
I might
I
be wrong
think,
about that.
yeah, I think in general, belt and chain have more value. And
Hmm.
the reasoning is
Also in the mid
because,
game, because I know that they have an early game for slamming Warmocks and Sunfires,
uh-huh.
which is a really strong early game. But what about mid game?
I think, I mean, you almost always want either a Sunfire or Morello in your comp at some point
Hmm.
because, not having anti-heal can lose you some fights
Yeah,
where, the units can end up just like living forever
yeah,
through
Soul
healing.
Eater and Yumi comps and shit like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. They
Yeah,
just like live for too long.
yeah.
Strictly because they can heal as much as they want. So that's one reason to go for a belt and chain. Is to go for like Sunfire, very safe item. But then, besides that, it could just make more items. The belt and the chain. You can make Warmogs. You can make Bramble. You can make Sunfire. You can make Redemption, Knight's Vow, Gargoyle, Stoneplate in some cases.
Hmm.
There's just more things they could make, whereas with the cloak, all you could really make is Declaw and then maybe the Gargoyle Stone Plate, but even then that item is not super great
Yeah.
compared to like the Bramble, Warmogs,
Like Bramble
Sunfire,
has a
and
lot
all
of
that.
value right now, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
feel like
Bramble
it
like
does.
in most metas has a lot of value just because I mean the armor is good and all that, but it's mainly the
The
crit
crit.
reduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like a lot of users use JG, a lot of users use IE. Recons get hard
Hmm.
countered by Bramble just because basically all of their damage is
Yeah.
from crits.
Makes
So
sense.
it almost always has a lot of value. Jeweled Lotus also.
Is
So
it all right to slam a Bramble early? Like.
yeah, I think it's completely fine.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of times it's like if you know you're going to make an item eventually, and
Hmm.
also you don't need the components currently, then it's almost always fine to make the item because like even though you get the most out of the item later, you can still get value out of it now and it should be fine.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Makes sense. Um. Yeah. Cool. So for instance, if I have like let's say a carry item and a Bramble, no, I mean a vest on 2-1, right? And I want to make a defensive item on the first carousel. Would you rather make a Sunfire or would you rather make a Bramble in most cases?
Okay, so like so you're saying you have belt chain. Would you make Sunfire
Um,
Bramble? Is
no,
that
no.
the
What I
option?
mean on no on 2-1 I have like let's say a shift and a
Oh, and a chain.
and a naked, yeah, and a
And
naked chain.
you're
So
okay.
what would I go for on the first carousel if I want a defensive item? Would that be a Sunfire or a Bramble in most cases? Or is that
Probably Sunfire. So Sunfire gives you I think it's a stronger item immediately
mm-hmm.
because it does some damage, it gives you some base stats,
Yeah,
and most people don't have like crit online yet. So I
yeah,
think Sunfire is just better early, and then also it lets you get that anti-heal that you will need eventually. Like in most cases you'll probably feel better like not having the Bramble than not having the Sunfire.
mm-hmm.
Or not I mean I guess it can be lobby dependent. Like let's
Yeah.
say there's a lot of like there's many crit users in the lobby. You might want it more. You might want it more than the might want Bramble more than the anti-heal. But I think if you're talking about 2-1, you would generally just go for the Sunfire.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool.
All right, so going back to the game, I think we could. Okay, yeah, we rewind it a bit. It's always good. So I think a skill that you have, but it just has to be like kind of like refined more and
Hmm.
put in spots that make more sense. Is you do think about augments ahead of time, which is good, because let's say on 3-1 and 4-1, you're going to get your augments, and a lot of the time it's going to be hero augments. You want to
Hmm.
be ready for those hero augments, one, so that you can put in the right traits, and then
Yeah.
two, so that you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So like you want to know what you're looking for before you even get the option to take it. So like
Exactly.
it's 4-1 right now, right? And we're looking at our traits and we're looking at our board. What augment do we want right here?
We want the mercenary bunny.
Yeah. Okay.
I
So
think that's the only one. If it goes to four cost, right?
yeah, so I think a good thing to think about is if it's 3 costs, what do I want? If it's 4 costs, what do I want?
Yeah.
And I mean, I
Three
guess
cost. I obviously want the Riven, the carry one, which
yeah.
gets AP.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
All right. I think that's pretty good. So yeah, you take the Riven
five.
one, and you
Yeah.
probably want Bunny Mercenary, and if you have to, you might take the support one. It's
Yeah.
good to know what you want, and then also like what are potential fallback options because let's say it's 3-3-4 in terms of the options that we're given. If we roll, there's a realistic chance that we don't actually get the MF1 that we want because if we look at our traits,
Yeah.
Aegis
We have
gives us
so
the
many.
option for Echo, Anima Squad gives us the option for MF, Ace gives us the option for Samira, Brawler gives us
Mhm.
the option for Sejuani, Viego or Oxforce gives us the option for Viego.
Yeah.
So we want Bunny Mercenary, but like let's say it's like 4-3-3 where there's only one slot for 4 cost. It is
Hmm.
very realistic that we roll past Make It Rain to look for Bunny Mercenary and we never hit it.
I would never do that. I think I would always
Okay.
take if my traits look like this and it's 4-3-3,
Yeah.
I would always take the first MF I get.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, and I also think that I might if my first choices are, let's say, Echo, um, and the Riven carry and some random, I think I'm not even rolling. I think I take the Riven carry because I think it's very
uh
unlikely to hit if my traits look like this.
yeah. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll take a look at what the augments give us.
Yeah. It's a disaster.
Oh. Okay. Okay. I mean, yeah. That's just a bit low roll then. I mean, you could play slightly around this and try to not put in as many traits, but then it's like a lot of times
Yeah.
it's like
You ruin your board a lot of the times, right?
and it's like you should like on average you probably hit MF 1 MF here
I would think so,
most
right?
of the time. Yeah, most of the time you hit at least 1 MF.
Um. Also, I have I don't. Is it still a thing that the last reroll you do on hero augments are completely random?
No, so I think how it works is the augment on the right is always a support augment.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes the augments might like error. I'm not 100% sure how this works. I'm pretty sure it's getting fixed like soon and stuff like that, or maybe it already got fixed. I'm not sure. But then
Yeah,
sometimes it's like, I think how it would work. Hopefully I'm not giving like misinformation, but like I think how it would work is like let's say you had civilian in, the
mm-hmm.
augments would first check for your traits. So like let's say they check for civilian, and
Yeah.
then they check for 4 costs in the civilian role or in the civilian trait, and there is none. And because there is none, it just gives you random.
Okay, okay.
So I think
Because
that's how like randoms get given out is like when there's like an error or something, and it looks for a unit that doesn't exist, so it gives a random one.
Okay, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that on the last patch, the Samira patch, the last roll was completely random because I remember having a 3-2
Hmm.
hero power or hero augment, and I had only I think I had one trade active,
Hmm.
and my last roll had none of those.
Yeah.
Like it's only the last one that's fucking up. I don't know if it still does that or not.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what's been fixed and not fixed, but I know for sure on this current patch,
Mm.
you could rewind like 10-20 seconds right now.
Yeah. A second.
Okay.
Wait
So
a
if we
second.
look at our augment choices, all of the augment choices in the third slot were support augments.
Yeah, let's have a look.
And that's just like how it is right now. So Smash, that's All-Star support. Sleepy Time is
Sleepy
Zoe
time. Yep.
support. Triumphant
Riven
Return,
support.
yep.
Yeah.
And
But the right one there, Daredevil, was on the left side.
oh, I don't know
On
if the left or the middle. I think those are just like random, whether it's like
okay, okay.
carrier support. But I know the one on the right is
Is
always
always support.
support
Yeah.
for
Okay. I
whatever
see.
reason. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a good reason for that, but it's just what it is.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
I obviously hardcore low roll this,
Yeah, I mean,
but
it doesn't look
but I
good.
think I mean at this point it doesn't really matter, right? Because I made
Yeah.
so many mistakes up until this point,
Hmm.
and I think just what we already talked about has helped tremendously, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess here you'd probably just take the Sejuani one, pray
Yeah.
for the
It's like
best.
the only
Okay.
thing I can do, right?
Yeah, and I think yeah, we probably just roll here. Okay, we could fit in. I think you just like roll for some upgrades. Like you don't need this Annie.
Mm.
Um, yeah. I guess something to think about is
I don't know why
trying.
I don't keep rolling here, actually.
Oh yeah, you should definitely keep rolling like
I should
this.
definitely keep rolling.
Yeah. So you have a lot of pairs. You have the Jinx pair. Oh wait, do
Yeah,
you? Oh
exactly.
no, you don't have Jinx pair anymore. But you have the MF pair, the Sejuani pair because of the orb.
Yep.
You could hit a whole bunch of stuff. And also, I think a good thing to think about when it's like, should I roll on 7 versus should I go level 8 is when are you going level 8? So here, you're not going to go level 8 on 4-5 just because if you do, it will cost you all of your money and you can't roll anyway. And you're going
Yeah.
to play like one random unit. So the earliest that we're probably going to go 8 is on 5-1, is like the earliest.
Yeah.
So if we can establish that we're not going to go level 8 until 5-1, then we have to be okay with not rolling or with keeping our board until then.
Yeah. So
And
can my board
yeah,
sustain the damage I'm gonna take if
yeah,
I
for
don't?
3 straight rounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
and is that worth it? And
Yeah.
the answer to both is like no. So it's like if we keep this board, it's not gonna work out. Is it worth it to greed the gold so that we can have more gold on like 5-1?
Mm,
No.
no.
So in because of that, we should just roll here.
Yeah.
Obviously, like rolling for 4 costs on level 7, you're just like kind of hoping for a high roll, but it's like hoping for a high roll is better than just like kind of dying anyway.
Yeah. I think I do something quite stupid here. Actually, it might be a recurring theme for me. I with like exactly what you said. Figuring out when can I actually get level 8, and what I end up doing in this game is I end up, I think, leveling after the carousel,
Okay.
and then do a really small roll down, right?
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I figured I already have the pair of MF and the pair of Sejuani.
Yeah.
So if I level to 8 and do a small roll down, I might have bigger chances to hit it than coming now. And I have
Hmm.
I have a stronger board because I have 8 slots, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
but yeah, it
Yeah. It
it
does.
doesn't
It
work out
feels
well.
like better to roll on 8 than 7. You get to fit an extra unit. You get better odds. You get higher odds for legendaries. But a lot of
Yep.
times it's just like not as worth as you think. Just because like if we look at like the odds, it's like 15% on level
Hmm.
7 and it's like 25% on
Yeah.
level 8, I think. 25. Um and that is a pretty significant amount. But the thing is, if we are pumping that much gold into XP, so we're gonna spend 48 gold into XP, our odds of actually hitting the forecast are actually lower than if we just roll now. Because now we
Yeah.
have 48 more gold to roll.
And it's way more all in, right? Because I sacked 2 or 3 rounds
Yeah,
to
exactly.
get to that point, so I
Mhm.
have to hit when I actually level up.
Yeah, so yeah, now like we do have trade sector, so it's slightly more acceptable. But
Yeah,
then even then, like we're gonna be level 8 with like 20 gold after selling like the Soraka and Aesol. We're gonna have like 20 gold or something.
yeah, I think that's correct.
Uh and yeah, we had to be hoping that we hit like Riven 2, MF2, Sejuani 2, that's already like 11 gold. We had to hit
Hmm.
that in like 4 rolls. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think I pump it now, right? Yeah, I do. And yeah, you're bang on the money, around 20. We do hit the
okay, we
MF,
get one.
but we got nothing
Oh,
else.
also, in terms of items, I'm not sure what was available, but um,
No, I think I like zoned out here actually.
okay.
I thought I can get a gunblade,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
but I
because here
couldn't.
it's probably just like JG or something.
Yeah,
We were playing
exactly.
around the glove, but yeah, maybe
Yeah,
you're just like checked out already.
I think I did.
Uh,
After the Sejuani argument, I was like, fuck
yeah,
this.
yeah.
It doesn't even matter. I think I die here or next round.
Yeah, probably next
Yeah, it's
round.
probably next round.
Um, I mean, despite all those stakes, it's like the board that we ended up with is actually not even that terrible. It's just like it. We lost a
No,
lot of
it's
HP to get here. We like could have. We were playing like something that's not as optimal as like if we just like maybe played Talia.
yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this is my
Yeah,
last round. I get
Sedge.
the op. I roll and I find
You
another
find Sedge
Sedge.
anyway, just you know.
Annoying.
um.
Yeah, and from here on out, it just GG's. Nothing to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're bang on the money. About the points about Anima Squad.
Mm-hmm.
And me not slamming IE here is a mistake as well, right?
Yeah,
Because
I mean it should have been like Jeweled Gauntlet, but
yeah,
yeah, even IE is like not even that bad.
yeah, it's all right. Poor
Um.
man's jewel gauntlet, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, and this looks like it's probably the end of the game. So Mirror 2 set 2, level 7.
Yeah, it's it's
Uh
it's it's over.
yeah, okay. I think to recap some of the
Hmm.
biggest points of the game is one, you want to commit to strong comps that make sense for your spot. You usually want to figure out what comps you're playing around based on your items because the items are something that you can't change, whereas
Yep.
units are something that you could eventually find and filter around.
Yep.
So it's like if you have, blue buff plus rod, you're not gonna force AD even if they give you a free Samira too.
Yeah.
You just want to play around the item. You want to play around your items and then what comps work with the items that you're given. So in your spot, you can be open to anima, you can be open to admin, you can be open to Soraka, Gadgetines, and everything.
Yeah.
But then after that, you just had to see like what you hit, so you don't hit the anima, so it doesn't make sense to play that anymore. The
Yeah.
admin might suck. Okay, we're not gonna play admin anymore. Blah blah blah. We don't hit Gadgetine. We're not gonna play Gadgetine anymore. Okay, we're probably just gonna play Talia.
Yeah.
So that could
Especially
be a
in
thought
this game,
process.
right? Because I just I had such good options on stage 3 to just commit to spell slingers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um. Yeah. So yeah, that makes total sense.
Okay.
Thinking thinking about it like that is
So
I think
that,
the
yeah. Go. Sorry.
yeah, I think the biggest takeaway here is obviously never tunnel vision. I tend to not do that. I tend to be quite flexible,
Yeah.
but in
I
this
mean,
game I did.
yeah.
And yeah, sorry.
Oh no, yeah. Keep going. Finish your point.
Yeah, and the other takeaway is one of the big takeaways because I know I do this a lot is the 3-1 roll down is very
Oh
bad.
yeah. Uh-huh. I
Yeah.
was gonna get to that
All
too.
right.
So, I'd say you do want to be flexible, but you also want to commit as early as possible.
Mhm.
So, like committing as early as possible, like we went over it in like maybe like stage 2, stage 3. if you commit earlier, you don't have to hold as many units, and if you're not holding as many units, you have more econ and you have
Yeah.
more gold to work around. So letting you commit earlier is not only just good for yourself because you're thinking about less things, you have less room for error,
Hmm.
but it also is more efficient in like gold and what you're holding and what you're playing towards.
Yeah.
So you do want to commit early, but like you also don't want to be like closing yourself off from options that can be good.
Yeah, that's in the same area. Yeah, that makes
Hmm.
sense. Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
like strictly item speaking, right?
You don't want to be too open nor too closed. So it's
Yeah.
hard to balance, but
Yeah.
just in general, you want to be able to commit as early as you can. So it's like if you have the anima opener, maybe you have like anima crest, you have a 2-star Silas, and you have a Jinx and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna be playing anima here. I'm gonna go for anima items. I know what items I'm going for. I know what units I'm going for, and I'm gonna play from there.
Yeah.
Uh, those are the spots where it's like you have the highest success rate versus I have a bunch of random components. I don't have 2 stars. I don't know what units I'm playing. I don't know which units to hold. Those are the games where it's like much harder to navigate.
Sense. Yeah.
Okay.
I quite like the idea about narrowing the potential comps. Like you can also, I mean, you can most of the games narrow it quite thin on 2-1, right? When you
Yeah.
know your first initial three items.
Yeah. You can
Um,
start to think like, okay, it's probably gonna be this, this, or this.
yeah. For instance, in this game where I slam the shiv and I have the glove, it's like shiv is nice in recon, but glove is really not that great in recon. So it could be a recon angle,
Yeah.
but most likely it's gonna be like a anima spell slinger hard comp, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
anima, spellslinger comp, heart comp, or even hearts, like it doesn't feel as good anymore because you could have made the shiv into like a blue buff.
yeah,
And
you
hearts want
waste
so
the.
it's like you're probably leaning into like yeah recon anima or like spell slingers maybe.
Hmm. Yeah,
uh
cool.
yeah, that's like what
And here
we'd
I
probably
just
be
tunnel
thinking.
visioned on one of them, and that was a huge mistake, right?
Yep, for
Good.
sure.
We could have had a decent game in with spell slingers. I feel like with
Yeah,
what we were
so
presented in the shop.
yeah, so that, and then also I think another big point that we went over is just like the econ intervals.
Hmm.
That's something good to keep in
Huge.
mind. And
Can you go over
uh
them real quick again?
one more. Okay, so
Sure.
the perfect intervals are the second, the fifth, and the seventh stage, or
Yeah.
second, the fifth, and the second, seventh round of each stage. So 3-2, 3-5, 3-7,
Yeah.
4-2, 4-5, 4-7. I think it's slightly different on level two, or not level two, stage two, because it would be you usually level on 2-1, but then once you get to 2-5 then it's like back to normal. So I think
Yeah.
stage two
Okay.
is like the outlier, and then 2-5, 2-7, 3-2, 3-5, 3-7, 4-2, 4-5, 4-7, so on.
Yeah.
Those are the perfect intervals, and then going back to the reasoning is you could only buy XP in 4 gold, so it's the most worth to buy it when you don't have any XP overflow.
Hmm.
That's not to say that you could only level on these times.
No.
You might level on 3-1, you might level on 4-3, you might level on 4-6 or 3-6. There's
Let's
no
take
like
the
always, but yeah,
let's take the third stage.
right.
If I level on 3-1, it's normally to secure my win streak, right? That was what
Right.
you said,
Yeah,
and not
so yeah.
roll,
You
and then
almost
not
never
roll.
roll. You might
Yeah.
roll, but
Okay.
you almost never roll.
Yeah.
And it's just a continuous streak because the gold that you lose, so you're losing 4 gold, right? You're losing 4 gold because you're leveling early. The gold
Hmm.
that you lose can be made up through keeping your streak because as we went over, it's plus 3 gold when you have a 5 streak plus.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then if I do an open fort game, for instance, I want to roll. I want to level and roll on 3-2 or 3-5. Those were the intervals, right?
Yeah, usually 3-2, 3-2 on level 7 or like 3-5, or no, 3-2 on level 6 or 3-5 on level 7.
Okay. So depending on which comp I want to go for.
Right.
For instance, if I need a Viego, then a
Right.
3-5 roll down would be better.
Right.
All right. Nice.
Cool. Do you have any other like points or questions?
I don't think so, actually. Not right
Okay.
now, no.
All right, cool. If you have any though, you can just DM me if you ever want to schedule again at any point. Uh, you can just DM me on Discord.
Definitely.
All
I
right.
think I will definitely book you again for a live game review
Okay.
next.
Sure.
That would be cool.
Yeah, whenever. All right.
Mhm.
I guess that's all.
Sweet.
All
Cool,
right.
man.
Good luck in your games. I'll see you.
You thank you, man, and see you on stream, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
See you.
Cheers.
You
Bye.
too.